will be performed by a senior on the team, Colin Metcalf. Colin is from Pensacola, Florida. Lots of Floridas on the team. He is a triple major, or what I like to call showing off. That's in economics, finance, and communication studies. So let's give Colin a round of applause.
At the tender age of 16, Colin Metcalf hit rock bottom. When his friends decided to throw him a birthday to celebrate his sweet 16, he skipped the gathering entirely, electing instead to spend his evening with his 24 closest virtual friends, raiding a World of Warcraft dungeon. 16 sweet hours later, out of Mountain Dew and Doritos, he stopped playing. His party was long over. His tangible friends had left. But he didn't care. He was addicted. A PBS special broadcast September 7th, 2012 notes, Colin isn't alone. With 211 million Americans, 2/3 of the entire population playing video games, pathological play has become commonplace. And while we often view our interactive virtual entertainment as harmless, the reality is our video game addictions can be as terribly destructive as the years of Mountain Dew consumption currently eroding Colin Metcalf's stomach. In fact, Pacific Standard magazine on May 6, 2013 notes roughly 6% of Americans play at a pathological level, which means more than 13 million Americans play video games more than 10 hours a day, every day. Because sleeping is for scrubs. Unfortunately, the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of Mental Disorders, don't worry, I just sobered up too, refuses to classify pathological play as an addiction. Considering the previously cited Pacific Standard argues pathological play is pullulating to a problematic peak, it's time we recognize just how annoying alliteration is. Also, the DSM should classify pathological play as a real and dangerous mental addiction. We'll first embark on a mythical quest to uncover how awesome video games are. Then we'll slay some dragons and uncover how we're getting owned by the virtual world, before finally leveling up some solutions to an addiction Colin Metcalf claims in a personal interview on October 1st, 2008. Sucks. The epic narrative of debonair Colin Metcalf begins at the age of 6, when his father brought him Super Mario for the Game Boy Advance. In a single day, he had beaten the game. Unfortunately, he also broke up with all 3 of his kindergarten girlfriends in the process. In a personal interview with 6-year-old Colin Metcalf on March 17, 1998, he claims video games are just too good. First, games are designed to be addictive. And second, we encourage all forms of gameplay. First, Nielsen Entertainment Company on October 5th, 2012 succinctly describes video game addiction as virtual heroin crafted to get you mentally and physically addicted. Game of Sutra on April 22nd, 2012 notes, every successful game is designed to hook gamers, keeping them slack-jawed and drooling in front of their screens, engulfed in a fine mist of Dorito dust and despair. And it's not just Mountain Dew guzzling, Dorito crunching male gamers that are hurting. Gizmodo on August 7th, 2012 offers Candy Crush can be just as volatile, both for our lives and intestines. The author, Ashley Feinberg, notes she spent hours and hours of her time and nearly $236 on the game. A game you can only beat by deleting it from your phone. And it doesn't even come with virtual friends. Second, our society encourages all forms of gameplay. The Journal of Psychiatric Research on November 11th, 2011 notes, more and more of our society play video games every single day, which means pathological play becomes more acceptable as more people warm up to video games. For example, The Fix on July 10th, 2012 gives us Jason, an ex-World of Warcraft player who was playing for 10 hours a day at the age of 15. Yet it took his family nearly 3 years to put a stop to his habits. Jason contends, and I quote, Quitting the game caused me to lose 50 pounds, enroll in a serious amount of classes, and touch a girl's naughty bits for the first time. Congratulations, Jason. The next level is calling a vagina. The narrative of dapper Colin Metcalf continues at the age of 13. When his father bought him Madden NFL 2004, he immediately began his career as a virtual athlete, dominating his fellow virtual athletes online. To this day, his virtual vertical jump holds the world record. Unfortunately, his Olympian dedication has effects. Specifically, there are two. First, gamers are losing their lives. And second, people think it's okay to spend their lives ensnared in the virtual universe. First, Live Science on November 11, 2011 notes, the brain's dopamine pathways light up during gameplay at levels consistent with hard drugs like cocaine. With physical feedback levels that severe, gamers are easily hooked into playing all day, every day. The China Watch on November 3rd, 2012 gives us an example of a gamer in Taiwan who played for 23 hours straight until his heart stopped while he was still playing. This sort of pathological play is also apparent with phone games, like Dots, a game where you literally connect dots. The previously cited Gizmodo reports one player played 20 consecutive hours connecting dots. Second, the previously cited Journal of Psychiatric Research notes, while the game's addictive nature certainly doesn't help the issue, gamers think it's okay to spend their lives ensnared in the virtual universe before they're ever addicted. Salon, on May 31st, 2013 notes, digital addictions are considered perfectly acceptable. As a result, gamers have no deterrent to spending their entire lives in front of their favorite game. For example, in the case of the antisocial but surprisingly still charming Colin Metcalf, his gaming habits were never once questioned by his family. In the previously cited personal interview, he claims, "I really hope my true story makes it into the second subpoint of a second effects section of an ADS speech this year." I think it's the perfect demonstrating example, showing how acceptable our gaming addictions have become, and how our society continues to enable this dangerous problem. Wow. Compelling stuff. And it's funny I said the word compelling right there. Because the narrative of the effervescent Colin Metcalf is starting to get seriously persuasive. After his 16th birthday, he decided it was time to find a solution. His answer? Tossing his computer out of his second-story bedroom window. Fortunately, that one got cut out of this speech, so you all can keep your computers, gaming systems, and phones. Instead, we'll explore some alternatives. First, The Fix on July 20th, 2012 gives us Online Gamers Anonymous, a web-based self-help rehabilitation program where gamers from across the country gather to offer support to one another. I printed out their website on my church's spare business cards. Pick one up after the round and get on the road to heaven. Or recovery. Either works. Today. Second, if you know someone who suffers from a video game addiction, the previously cited Pacific Standard argues, what better way to combat that addiction than with giant unreadable medical manuals? That's right. The DSM should classify video game addiction as a real and dangerous medical problem. Also, don't be afraid to contact news outlets and share the story of someone you care about and whose personal privacy you don't. Right now, gamers are reduced to comedic headlines because so few speak out about their issues. But if we share the story of ourselves and those around us, perhaps society will begin to take serious gaming addiction seriously. When Colin turned 21, his friends again threw him a party. This time, instead of scampering off the game, he lost several games of beer pong, failed at learning to salsa, and got embarrassingly drunk. To a series of life-alteringly bad decisions. Overall, a smashing success. Today, by understanding how video games are awesome and seeing how we're getting owned by the virtual world, we were able to offer some exceedingly helpful solutions, coming one step closer to taking our addictions just a bit more seriously. And more importantly, emulating Colin Metcalf's perfect recovery story.